Welcome back to the Bear Down Podcast on NCAA Football 14, guys, where it's all about everything Arkansas A&M. Our Black Bears sitting at 9-0 on the season, number one in the country, coming off two impressive wins this week. In today's video, we'll look back at the week that was, the two victories. We'll look at some stats. We'll take a look at the standings, the rankings as of this week, and then we're going to hit the recruiting trail. Then we have our favorite segment of the day. Then we have our favorite segment of the show, the top 5 plays from the week. And then we'll look ahead to what's left on the schedule. Our Black Bears on the road for the next 3 weeks. This should be a fun one, guys. If you haven't yet, make sure you go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are brand new. So we kick this week off against LSU, getting the W, 56-44. What a game. As you can see, we went into the half down 3 points, but 21 points in the third quarter blew the game wide open, and we were able to close things out in the fourth. Gabe had a great day through the air, 289 yards, 3 touchdowns, completing 69% of his balls, but the story has to be Philip Fagan. The offense is running through him, 220 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns. He carried the ball, 33 times on the day. The receiving group did a great job stepping up. Albert Flowers, 5 catches, 71 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Will had 5 for 61. And then Mike Warren, 4 for 37 and a score. But defensively, I feel like we took a step back. Ben Bowen led the way, 8 tackles, 2 TFLs. Bo McGee, he had 4 tackles, so did David Sims. I felt like in this game we really couldn't do too much. We needed a late interception for Nick Ginn to secure the W. We'll take a look at the game stats. And as you can see, we gave up 500 yards of total offense, 283 on the ground, 262 through the air. We did a great job holding them to 0 of 3 on third down. But it feels like they didn't even need a third down because they put up 44 points on us. They were perfect inside the red zone, but that one turnover late cost them, man, and we held the ball for almost the entire game. We had to slow them down. I felt like they were able to run the ball without any hesitation, without any stops, man. McGuire, 19 carries for 174 yards and a touchdown. Scott had 2 carries for 43 yards and 2 scores. We gave up 146 yards to Lee through the air. Just a disappointing showing by our Black Bears on defense, but we were able to squeak it out and get the W. And then we return home. It was senior day in the Den, the final home game of the regular season, and we dominated Ole Miss 71-28. We got things going in the first quarter, putting up 28 points, 21 points in the second quarter, 13 in the fourth, and 14 in the third, and 8 in the fourth. Just a dominating performance. It felt good to give our seniors a goodbye win like that. Gabe Perez, monster day, 267 through the air, 4 touchdowns. He completed 68% of his balls on the ground. Philip Fagan in his last game in Bear Den Stadium, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. Marquise Powers, his last game as well, 40 carries for 40 carries. Marquise Powers, his last game in the Den as well, 40 yards and a touchdown. And as you can see, a lot of backups got into the game. Corey Green, the redshirt freshman, he had 11 yards. We tried to get AB going. He couldn't do anything. Tony Mitchell came in as a backup quarterback, 3 carries for 20 yards. Gabe had 2 for 13. And then true freshman Franklin Chance, he had 1 carry for 32 yards. Out wide, Will Rogers led the way, 6 grabs for 76 yards and a touchdown. Ashton Ryan, 5 for 89 and a score. Mike Warren, 4 for 81 and a touchdown. Albert Flowers, 4 for 32 and a score. Justin Harris had 2 for 21. And Powers had 1 catch as well. Defense did a great job this week holding the Ole Miss offense to only 20-something points. John Thomas, led the way with 7 tackles. And you had Coco with 6. Coco had an interception as well. David Sims had 5 tackles and a pick 6. Nick Ginn, he had a pick 6 as well, 4 tackles. We got a sack from Caleb Walker. Then Bo McGee down here with the interception. Again, just a dominating performance, 543 yards of total offense for Ole Miss. Most of that came in garbage time. As you can see, the out through is 419 yards. to 299. We held their rushing attack to 124 yards on the ground. Let's see, what else? 3 of 7 on third down. Great job by the defense. We forced those 4 turnovers. Almost 700 total yards from our Black Bears against Ole Miss. We held the ball for 21 minutes, 51 seconds. And with that, we stay undefeated and looking towards that SEC championship. So it's time to look at the latest edition of the BCS Rankings, and some shake-up happened. Some movement, guys. Our Black Bears still at number 1 on the season, 9-0. We've got A-State up next. Florida State moves up a spot to number 2. They are undefeated, getting ready to take on number 20 Clemson. Then you've got Texas still undefeated. They're 8-0, getting ready to take on Texas A&M. They jumped up 2 spots to 3. Michigan State is up 4 spots to 4. They're 7-1 after beating then number 2 Michigan last week, and they travel to take on the Buckeyes in the shoe. Notre Dame is up a spot. They're 7-2. Washington up a spot. They're 6. You got Georgia State. Look at them, man. Georgia State having a year. They're up 4 spots to 7. But here it is, man. The Wolverines fall 6 spots to 8 after losing to Michigan State. That's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. You've got Auburn in at 9. Pittsburgh rounds out your top 10. Stanford in at 11. Indiana at 12. Missouri is 13. Arizona 14. You got South Alabama in at 15. Fresno State at 16. Nebraska falls 13 spots. They were undefeated in the top 5. They are at 17 now after losing to Northwestern. Florida is in at 18. You got Akron in at 19. Tennessee is 20th. Clemson in at 21. Oregon is 22. They fall 4 spots after losing to Washington. Alabama creeps back into the top 25. They're in at 23. Ohio State, they're in at 24. And you got Navy rounding out your top 25. But let's go back to the top of this board, man. 3 undefeated teams left in the top 3. Florida State, Texas, Arkansas A&M. Georgia State on the outside looking in. They would have to have a lot of help if they want to make it to the national championship. They would need every team above them to lose. This is going to be a tough week for Florida State. They're taking on Clemson. I think Texas should handle Texas A&M just fine. But be on the lookout for Michigan State. That big upset win over Michigan, if they beat out Ohio State and win out the Big Ten, it should be interesting, man. All we have to do is win the last 3 games of the season on the road and go into the SEC championship and do what we do best, and that's win trophies. So here's a look at the SEC standings as of today. Our Black Bears, number 1 in the SEC, undefeated in conference play. Alabama right behind us, 5-1 in conference play. Their 2 losses have come outside of conference. You got Auburn in at 3. Georgia Tech is 4. Florida in at 5. Tennessee is 6. South Carolina is 7. Georgia is 8. Ole Miss in at 9. LSU, down year for them. They're 2-4 in conference play. They're 10. You got Kentucky in at 11. Arkansas is 12. Vandy in at 13. And then Mississippi State is 14. It's setting up for a really interesting end of the season. We play A-State this week. Then we're out to Georgia to take on Georgia Tech. And we wrap up our season against Alabama. So we could have the SEC championship, a trip to the SEC championship on the line against Alabama in the final game of the regular season. Let's look over here at the East. It's a dogfight right now. Georgia Tech is in first place, and you got Florida and Tennessee. This looks like the weaker side of the SEC. Like I said, we played Georgia Tech in 2 weeks. We already beat Florida. I don't think we played Tennessee this year. But it'd be interesting to see how this ends up, because if we beat Georgia Tech next week, it's a 2-way tie. Might even be a 3-way tie with these 3 teams. And South Carolina's on the outside looking in. So let's go through some season stats right now. Gabe Perez closing in on 2,500 yards through the air. He's sitting at 2,488, 26 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions on the season. Gabe has been a magician this year, man, completing 69% of his balls. listen, I really think he should be up for the Heisman. I know him sitting out the first game kind of hurts him, but I feel like he's having one of those seasons. We're going to look back at this guy's junior year, and that's going to be the measuring stick for a lot of quarterbacks that come through this system for the rest of this dynasty. On the ground, Philip Fagan continues to be a monster. 204 carries for 1,416 yards, 24 rushing touchdowns. He's averaging, get this, almost 7 yards per carry, 157 yards per game. This kid is just special, man, and I really think when he graduates, he's going to rewrite all of the rushing records at Arkansas A&M. His name is going to be up there with the Corey Gonzalez's. In fact, I think he's 1 or 2 touchdowns away for breaking Corey Gonzalez's rushing touchdown record at 85, 88, something like that. To the receiving group, man, Mike Warren leading the way, 36 grabs, 595 and 6 scores. Will Rogers, 35 grabs, 501 and 4 scores. Albert Flowers, 35 grabs, 623 and 9 touchdowns in his freshman season. Ashton Ryan, 30 catches, 504 and 4 scores. You got Justin Harris, 16 grabs for 296 and 2 scores. Kyle Holloway, 8 catches, 32 yards and a touchdown. I want to get him involved in the offense a lot more. I feel like he's a special weapon. It's kind of tough right now when you've got 2 seniors ahead of him. But next year, I think we put him in the slot, move Mike Warren to the outside on the opposite side from Albert Flowers. Holloway in the slot. Dangerous group of receivers here at A&M. Powers, 8 grabs for 33 yards. Fagan, 6 for 34. Foreman, 4 for 67. Adam Lawson, 2 for 51 and a touchdown. And Luke Baker, 1 catch, 3 yards and a touchdown. Then you got AB with a catch for 2 yards. Offensive line, Jim Palmer has given up the most sacks on the team so far. 5 sacks through the season. At total, though, we've only given up 8 sacks through 9 games, which is very impressive for this offensive line. To the defense side of the ball, we go. David Sims, 53 tackles on the year, 12 TFLs and a sack. Nick Ginn, 35 tackles on the year. Richie Anderson, 33 tackles and 5 TFLs. And you got Ben Bowen having a great senior campaign, 33 tackles, 9 TFLs. Jonathan Thomas, 30 tackles. James Ramirez has 28. Jermaine Coco with 27. Bo McGee has 24. Caleb Walker with 21. You got Chris Johnson with 19. Trey Turner, 18 and 11 TFLs. Caleb Walker has 12. Trey Jolly, 12 tackles. And you got Phil Anderson with 9. Garrett Anderson has 9. And so does Donnell Swan. He's got 8. And then Brian Smith has 7. Let's take a look at these sack totals. Caleb Walker leading the team with 6 sacks. Trey Turner second with 4. You got Garrett Anderson with 3. And then you got a gang of guys with 1. Hendricks, Lester, Jolly, Coco, and Sims. Honestly, guys, I want to see more sack totals. It's going to be a lot tougher with the sliders that we're playing on now, but still, I feel like we've got some great pass rushers, some guys who can get after the quarterback. I'm kind of disappointed in Trey Jolly. I thought moving him down to the defensive line, he would have a big season, but it's been kind of disappointing, man. Where we are shining, though, is in the secondary, forcing a lot of turnovers. Our 2 starting corners, McGee and Ramirez, both with 6 interceptions on the season. Both of them get the playmaker star. I expect both of them to be all SEC and all Americans this year. David Sims, 3 interceptions, Jermaine Coco has 3 as well. Nick Ginn with 2 picks. Richie has 1, so does Jonathan Thomas. And Christopher Warder has 1 as well. Defensive touchdowns, James Ramirez with 2 pick sixes. Same for David Sims. And Nick Ginn has the pick 6 as well. Special teams, Marquise Powers is a man. 28 kickoff returns for almost 1,100 yards. He's averaging almost 40 yards a return. He's got 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year, including his longest, 108 yards to the crib. And then punt returns, 15 for 240. We're putting up incredible numbers offensively and defensively. This team is showing why they are the best team in the country. Now we just have to keep winning out. 3 games left in the regular season. Take a look at the NCAA stats this week. Gabe Perez leading the country in passing yards, 2,488. Behind him is Lamb from SMU, Miller from SC, Hall from TCU, and Gillett from Houston. On the ground, Philip Fagan, Showing why he's the best back in the country. 1,416 yards, number one in the country. Behind him is Coleman from Fresno State, Thompson from Oregon, Bailey from Tennessee. I think that's the guy who won the Heisman last year. And then Hollis from Arizona. Receiving yards, Johnson from North Carolina knocking on the door of 1,000 yards. Estes from Florida State is second with 892. Hughes from Indiana, he's got 862. Lee, who we just played from LSU, 860 yards. You got Mitchell fifth from UAB. He's got 792. And then Flowers is 37th with 623 yards. I doubt that we get a 1,000-yard receiver this year just because we have so many weapons and we are so run dominant right now. But we're going to try to get there. Defense side of the ball, we go. David Sims leads the country with 50 tackles, followed by Johnson from Ole Miss with 37. Same for Ingram from Purdue and Spence from Ohio State. And fifth on this list, Nick Ginn with 34. QB pressure department, Larson from Alabama, 9.5 sacks this year. You've got Thompson from Washington with 8.5. Cox from LSU, he's got 7.5. Same with Robinson from Cal, he's got 7.5. Charles from NIU, he's got 6.5. And then Caleb Walker is 14th on this list with 6. Interception department, Bo McGee, James Ramirez, 1 and 2 in college football with 6 interceptions. Ford, Warren, and Ellis all have 5. Award season's almost here, fellas, and the semifinalists have been named. Check out the list and look at all the Black Bears that could be up for some big awards. Kicking things off with the Maxwell, you got our 2 offensive captains, Philip Fagan and Gabe Perez, 1 and 2. For the Walter Camp, you got Phil Fagan, number 1 on this list. Gabe Perez, shockingly, in at 7. The Bednarik ran by Arkansas A&M. David Sims, Bo McGee, James Ramirez, Jermaine Coco, Nick Ginn, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then at the bottom of the list at number 10, Richie Anderson. The Nagurski, we're behind Zach Thompson from Washington and Benjamin Larson from Alabama, but David Sims is on this list at 3. Then you've got Bo McGee at 5, James Ramirez 6, Caleb Walker is 7, and Trey Turner is 8. For the O'Brien Award, if he doesn't win this award, this will be very disappointing by the voters. Gabe Perez is in at number 1. Looking at his stats, he has 70 incompletions on the season. 70 through 9 games. That's insane. 28 total touchdowns. He is definitely, hands down, the best quarterback in the country. The Doak Walker Award for the best running back, Philip Fagan, number 1 on that list. Here's a shocker for you. Albert Flowers, the true freshman from Arkansas A&M, is number 1 on the Fred Biletnikoff Award list. I'm shocked by this. I'm not going to front. Solid numbers so far, 623, 9 touchdowns, but he only has 35 catches. I think it's the touchdowns that has him at the top of the list. He is a playmaker, and we're going to try to win the Biletnikoff for the first time, I think, in school history. The Mackey, Jared Ray from Houston is number 1, but in at number 2, Ashton Ryan, our big tight end. We're going to try to get this award for him too. He's got a little work to do. He's only trailing the guy by 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. We could get him there. Here's a look at the Remington Award, honoring the best center in the country. And in at number 9 is John Hawkins, the senior. He's the leader of that offensive line group. I would have expected him to be up a little bit higher, but he has given up a sack. A lot of these guys have, man. A lot of these guys have given up a lot of sacks. This guy's given up 5. He's only got 4 pancakes, so a lot of these guys have double-digit pancakes ahead of him. The Lombardi Award, Zach Thompson from Washington. He's number 1. Benjamin Larson, the true freshman from Alabama. He is 2. You got Trey Turner in at 3. Caleb Walker is 4. And you got Garrett Anderson in at 6. The Buckets Award goes to the best linebacker in the country. And we already know that's David Sims. He's number 1 on this list. But look at Ben Bowen, man. Shout out to Ben. He's number 7, having a great senior campaign. So I guess A&M can just share the Thorpe Award. The top 6 guys all go to Arkansas A&M. Bo McGee, James Ramirez, Jermaine Coco, Nick Ginn, Richie Anderson, and Jonathan Thomas, all 1 through 6. I'll say this. Our secondary has played a lot better this year than a lot of years previous. And then we go to the returner of the year, and no doubt, I think Marquise Powers has this locked up with his 3 kickoff return touchdowns at almost 1,100 yards. I would love to see him get a punt return touchdown before the year is up. All right, fellas, it is time for my favorite part of this podcast, the top 5 plays from the week. That LSU game was fun. That Ole Miss game was fun. Let's see who made the cut. Starting things off at number 5. All right, 1st and 10. 20 seconds left. Got you. Let's go, man. Let's go. Touchdown Bears. Mike Ward in the end zone. Let's go. Here's number 4. All right, big third down here. 3rd and 17. They come out in the gun, trips to the right. Watch deep routes here. Screen. Oh, David Sims with the pick. Oh, go. Go, Dave. Go, Dave. All the way to the house, Dave. Let's go. 2 pick sixes in the game. We'll take it. Touchdown Bears. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Number 3. 1st and 10. 3 wide. Warren slot left. Game's going back to the air. Bow. Got you, Flowers. Got you, Flowers. Let's go. Get in the end zone. Touchdown Bears. Woo! In at number 2. All right, 1st and goal. Just like that. We're going to send the blitz. And, of course, it's a pass. Picked off. Nick in. Let's go. Come on, Nick. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nick Ginn with the play. Yes, sir. To the house. Touchdown Bears. Nick Ginn with the pick 6. And the number 1 play from this week goes to... Oh, God. Oh, God. Marquise Powers. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? To the house. Touchdown Bears. 109 yards to the crib. Talk about fireworks in the first quarter. Back-to-back touchdowns. Stop playing with him, man. Stop kicking the ball to him. I don't know about y'all, but I love that segment. Looking back at the plays that these guys made on the field and be able to give them a highlight or give them, some credit for what they're doing on the field. It's always fun. If you guys see a play that is deemed worthy of play of the week, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section and leave the timestamp, and I'll make sure to include your name and your comment in the next video. But it's time to hit the recruiting trail. We welcome the newest member to the recruiting class. This is Torian Jack, the 5'9", 180-pound running back from Natchez, Mississippi. He's a 3-star prospect. Again, we need speed, and this kid has it. 90 speed, 85 agility, 88 acceleration. He's elusive, shifty, nice spin move. The carrying is pretty solid. He can come out the backfield a little bit, make some catches. I can see him taking over for Marquise Powers, having something like a Keys kind of effect on the offense next season, considering that we have 3 backs that are more bruisers than they are speed. And we did lose out on a big offensive lineman. The number 2 guard in the country, James Edwards, has decided to take his talents to Bama. The 6'3", 284-pounder, 4-star prospect, dropped us down to number 4 on his list. Michigan, Notre Dame, and then he picked Bama. This is a huge miss for us because this kid is going to be a monster. Great run blocker. He's got decent pass blocking skills, very strong for a true freshman. But I think that we have a guard on our recruiting board who can step in and take his place in Jesse Beck. We'll take a look at the top of the board right now. Right now, Chad Brown is the number 1 player on the board, the fullback from Mississippi. He's 5'10", 231. We've got the lead over Ole Miss and Tennessee. And again, we don't utilize the fullback too often in our offense, but I can see him playing as like a 3rd tight end for us. Then you've got Jack Payne, Then we've got Jack Payne, the do-it-all athlete from Tennessee, 6', 194. It's a 2-man race between us and Kentucky. I really don't know where to put him on the field. That 94 speed, the 95 acceleration. He could play a little safety for us. Maybe he's got great route running. He's shifty, nice spin move. He's elusive. Could be a running back as well. You just never know, man. Coach Thomas will have fun with this kid trying to figure out where we could put him on the offense. Like I mentioned before, we're still looking at 3 offensive linemen right now. Javon Thomas, that's number 6 ranked tackle in this class, 6'7", 292. Right now, Bama has a small lead over us, Nebraska, and Notre Dame. we like to add offensive linemen. This kid is a true left tackle, 86 pass block, 81 run block, 79 impact block. I really want him. I want him to be in our fold. We do have a guy right now who's backing up. We've got two left tackles right now, one for the future, one that's playing, but I think Javon could come in and push the guy that's sitting on our bench for playing time. Jesse Beck was the guard that I was talking about earlier from Louisiana, 6'4", 292, the number 3 guard in this class. And, yes, losing out on James Edwards sucks, but Jesse Beck could play a couple different positions for us. He could play left tackle because he's got 85 pass block, or we could keep him on the interior to play guard. He's a little bit more of a Swiss Army knife on the offensive line than what James Edwards is. Then we've got Donnie Brittain from Louisiana as well, 6'4", 277, the number 5 ranked center in this class. We're losing John Hawkins this season to graduation. We've got a guy who's ready to play next year. He's going to need a backup, and I think Brittain could come in and sit for a year, learn, and be able to be a star in a couple of seasons for our Black Bears. And because James Edwards decided to take his talents to Bama, that freed up a scholarship for us, and our scouts went crazy looking for somebody to pick up. We found Andrew Morris, outside linebacker from Greenville, Rhode Island, 6'1", 235, a 3-star prospect, and I think we found a gem, fellas. 85 speed, 71 agility, 98 acceleration, great tackling ability, great hit power, great pursuit. He can rush the quarterback as well and get off of blocks. I didn't even notice that. This kid is going to be something special. He's 6'1", 235. If we decide to switch to more of a 3-4 type defense next season, this dude could come in and be a pass rush specialist for us. I'm excited for him. Right now, we've got a slight lead over Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Florida State, and Washington. We will be in contact with Andrew throughout the rest of the season. Hopefully, we can land him in the offseason and get that commit. So here's a look at the top classes so far after 10 weeks. Bama is number 1, man. 10 prospects, 2 5-stars, and 6 4-stars. You got Auburn in at 2 with 8 total prospects. Vandy is 3rd with 14. Mississippi State is 4th with 12. You've got USC in at 5 with 12. A&M, we have 9 commits. We're in at 6. Washington is 7. Michigan State is 8. Syracuse is 9. And Oklahoma is 10. Look at the top of this board, man. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 6 are all SEC schools. That's the one thing the SEC can do is recruit. Fellas, we are winding down this season. Only 3 regular season games left, all of them on the road. This week we take on 6-2 A-State. Then we head out to Georgia to take on 5-3 Georgia Tech. And then the biggest game of the year, I feel like, end of the season, number 23 Alabama. Then we've got hopefully the SEC championship and then the bowl game. I think the next 2 weeks we should get dubs. The A-State game, the Georgia Tech game should be easy wins for our boys. Even though A-State plays us pretty tough, I think we could come out and dominate both teams. This Bama game has me worried. I can't even lie to you. Alabama is stacked on the offensive side of the ball. Their running game is elite. Their quarterback is elite. Receivers need some work, but their defense might need some work as well. But you just know Alabama at home it's a dangerous place to be, and especially with a chance for the SEC championship to go to the SEC championship on the line. We've got to come out the next 3 weeks and play our best football. We can't get off to slow starts. We can't allow these teams to hang around and be in the game. We got to do what we do best. Run the ball, open up the passing game for Gabe. Defensively, we've got to cover and tackle a lot better than what we've done the past couple weeks. It's going to be tough, but I know our Black Bears can do it. We just got to go out there and prove it. So the battle for the natural state is on this week. We are headed to Jonesboro to take on the 6-2 Arkansas State Red Wolves. We all know A-State plays us tough every season. This year, I wouldn't expect anything less. Let's get out here, get this W, finish the season strong, and make our way to the SEC championship and hopefully the national championship. If If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're brand new. Don't forget to ring that bell, join the Noti Squad. And make sure you guys check out those links down in my description. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and IG. And come through and join the Discord fan for exclusive content. And we'll talk from Jonesboro when we take on the Red Wolves. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace. Big thank you to all the members of the channel and the Patreons. If you would like to become a member or a Patreon, hit the links down below in my description.